Hello there, I'm Rob Cantley and I'm bringing you this from Borneo Exotics in the highlands of Sri Lanka. This is one of our female stock nurseries. My favorite nursery as it happens. We keep a lot of very old plants in here. It's the oldest nursery. And this is the first of what will be a series of videos on cultivation of Nepenthes. This by its very nature is going to be the longest and most rambling of the videos. It's very open-ended to talk about cultivation in general. So I'll warn you now that you might want to pause this and go and make a cup of tea or grab a beer from the fridge or whatever you like to do. I'll try to keep it under 15 minutes if that's possible. The idea of growing Nepenthes, of doing a series on the cultivation of Nepenthes came to us a while ago, and it's been a lot more complicated than we thought. I've had a few false starts and then decided to do this video first to try to explain a little bit about the generalities of growing the plants and the do's and the don'ts. The reason it's so difficult to do a series on cultivation of Nepenthes is that they are such a hugely diverse range of plants that it's not really feasible. I just wanted to look at this picture, but doesn't seem to want to come into frame. I love those. Alba marginata. You can't simply say with Nepenthes, you do this, that, and then this will happen. They are a hugely diverse range of plants with a vast different range of habitats that they grow in. The lowland species, the very extreme sort of species such as Baikal Karata, Ampullaria, and the peat swamp dwelling species grow in very humid conditions. They start off growing quite dark conditions and have to climb towards the canopy. And then there are others which, cute, eh? Look at that. There are others which grow on the tops of mountains, and they experience very different conditions, and some grow in very extreme highland conditions with quite low nighttime temperatures. So trying to grow them all under one roof, as we're trying to do here, proved impossible. Of course, we've had to take some out and grow them in specialized conditions, such as the lowland species. We used to have a lowland nursery, and we discontinued that some years ago, too far away from here, and the logistics were very difficult. So we now have the lowland plants growing in a very specialized facility. We'll show you that later on too. As for the general do's and don'ts of Nepenthes, well, you could go on. There is one overriding don't I would suggest, absolutely overriding, and that is don't do things suddenly, please. If you've got plants that are growing well or reasonably well, then don't suddenly change a lot of factors because of something you've read on the internet or something I've told you. Please, I wouldn't like to be responsible for that. If you change things, try to change them slowly. Nepenthes like to adapt gradually to changing conditions, if possible. Clearly, if your plants are actually on the verge of dying, then it's a good idea to actually make a sudden change of something, but only in extreme circumstances. Now then, the different factors for growing Nepenthes, there are, let me see, there will be 6, wouldn't there? 6, there's temperature, there's humidity, there's potting media, there's watering. What else have we got? We got feeding. And there's a 6th one. Hey, come on, Rob. It'll come to me. So temperature, humidity, potting media, light levels. Yes, light levels. And not every species requires it to be different from every single other species, but you can group them into various categories. They're commonly grouped for convenience into lowland, highland. Oh, I just have to stop and look at these. I can't walk past these without saying hello. Who could, hey? Look at that. So you have lowland, intermediate, which are between the two, and highland. They're usually grouped by the altitude at which the plants are found in the natural habitat. But that in itself is by no means a distinct classification. They blur into each other. And within those classifications, you've got different conditions, such as some of them grow in different substrates. Some grow on rocks, lithophytic, some grow on trees only, in the moss covering on tree branches, which are epiphytic. Many are terrestrial. One species is even known to grow on maritime rocks, although I don't think it chooses that by itself. It just happens to find itself there sometimes. It's really interesting. There's one species, Alba marginata, for example, that grows in fairly pure silicon sand, in my observation. Gets burned out by fires almost every year or every few years, and then just grows back again from the roots. Try that with a highland species, it wouldn't be too successful. So there you go. I'm not suggesting you burn your collection of Nepenthes out to replicate that particular condition, though you're welcome to try. So I'm going to tell you about how we grow them here at Borneo Exotics. Now, it's a culmination of, let me see, 50... I've been growing carnivorous plants for 55 years, specifically Nepenthes for 45 to 50 years. And I've done it in many different countries, in Brunei, in Hong Kong, a little bit in the Middle East, in UK, a lot in Sri Lanka. We've been here for 26 years. My little project here that was supposed to take 2 years to set up while I thought of doing something else grew. Well, now we have 90 people, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So everywhere I've been, it's been some sort of compromise. You know, you can't have, unless you're very wealthy, a nursery with all sorts of different conditions to suit every single species of Nepenthes. So you will probably have decided what type of plant you want to grow. If you're a beginner, you probably pick something that's technically an intermediate grower, maybe a fast-growing hybrid. Nepenthes Diana is one that's close to my heart, of course. I have to say that, otherwise I don't get fed. And you may be an orchid grower, for example, and grow Nepenthes as companion plants for orchids. That's very often done. Orchids are not particularly interesting plants and they're not in flower, but Nepenthes always have a focus of interest, with every leaf having a picture, assuming that you get things reasonably right. Hello, namesake. So what I'll do, as I said just now, and I do tend to repeat myself, I apologize, go and make another cup of tea. What I'll do is show you what we do. Don't try and copy us. It's not necessarily the best way. It really isn't necessarily the best way to grow Nepenthes. It's what we have to do here. Sri Lanka is a small island. When we get on to specifics such as potting media, I will explain a bit more about why we use coconut fiber. And in fact, when I first started growing Nepenthes in Brunei in the 1980s, the very early 1980s, we used sawdust and wood shavings from the local wood mill, because that's all we could get. Again, with coconut fiber, it's what's easily available here, is what we have decided to use. But I digress. The internet is a wonderful resource, isn't it, for information. You can go on the internet and find out from various growers, quite accomplished growers, how they do it. Some people have an axe to grind and they're banging on about particular ways of growing Nepenthes, and advocating certain fertilizers and things. Often they'll be manufacturing those or mixing them and selling them to you. Not a bad thing always. I'll give you one example off the top of my head. Nepenthes need magnesium. I've been saying that on forums ever since social media existed. If you look back at the early forums, I'm advocating the use of magnesium. But you don't need to go mad about it. If you dose your plants with massive amounts of Epsom salts regularly, you probably won't do them any harm. They'll go very green, and the pitchers will probably grow green as well. And they'll grow very fast, but fast-growing Nepenthes not necessarily the best thing. Often the leaves become soft. So good idea, use magnesium. Don't use a fertilizer without magnesium. So once again, I'm digressing. I'll talk much more about fertilizers in specialized videos. So there we go. Once again, this is a quick introduction. This will probably be the longest of all the videos. Just telling you that if you look at your Nepenthes collection, assuming you already have one, take stock of where you are, what it looks like right now, and think about what you might want to try and improve or change. As time goes by, when you're growing these plants, you do get a sense of whether they're happy or not, simply by being close to the plants. I've heard one of our distributors on social media saying, and I very much agree with her, that they talk to you. You can feel the conditions when you walk into somebody's Nepenthes collection. You can feel whether the conditions feel right for highland or lowland species or whatever it might be. And you can also feel the happiness or otherwise of the plants. The leaves need to be turgid. They need to be nicely green, but not brilliant, absolutely dark green. That's not natural. They don't want to be too yellow, but they want to be slightly off the darkest green imaginable, because if they are not hungry, there is an old wives' tale that they won't grow pitchers. As it happens, the old wives knew exactly what they were talking about, because if Nepenthes are too well nourished through the leaves or roots, in my experience, they don't grow pitchers until they really need to. So quite often you'll get a plant with one pitcher on it or no pitchers, fabulous looking green leaves. Well, if that's what you want, please go ahead and do that. In our case, we keep them slightly peckish so that they need to grow the pitchers. And if you want large pitchers, again, there are certain ways of thinking about doing that. Here we go. There's one just happens to be here. He's quite a big guy. There we go. And colorful pitchers. Look at that on the other side here. That's Nepenthes Dark Secret, which will be launching soon. So we can sort of tweak the conditions to grow the sort of plants we particularly would like to see. So enough of that now. I think I'll get on to trying to start producing some specialized videos on the individual aspects of Nepenthes, and try not to be too long-winded about it. I love these plants. I could talk about them all day and look at them. I mean, they're just fantastic, aren't they? So it's a matter of how to structure the videos, and every time I produce one, say on potting media, I'll probably end up thinking that wasn't good enough and trying to produce another one. So I'll try not to be too perfectionist about it and get things out there. We're going away for a month shortly, so there will be a bit of a gap maybe after this video. I think there'll be a gap unless I can get one done before we go. But we'll do our best to show you what we do here. We have no secrets, no secrets. We're very happy. In fact, sorry about the noise in the background. There's builders have arrived. We're very happy to show you exactly what we do, we don't keep anything back. Our idea is to try to show people how to grow the plants to the best of their potential, and really that we don't keep a single cultivation secret back from anybody who asks. We'll very happily share the information. There we go. Your cup of tea will have gone cold unless you've drunk it. So I'll leave you in peace and to enjoy your day or the rest of your day, wherever you might be. And we'll be back soon with more videos. Thank you very much, by the way, everybody who's following us on Instagram. And we started now on Facebook and putting the videos nicely catalogued onto YouTube. The idea, of course, is to eventually build up a catalogue of all our varieties. Hello. Something here doesn't want me to go. There we go. The idea is to build up a catalogue of everything we grow on YouTube, so that we can just click, people can just click and actually see a brief video of the plants, not just a few boring photos. So I hope you're enjoying those. And we're always open to suggestions as well. Comments, we do look at comments and try to reply to them. The best way to communicate with us, of course, is by email. My personal email address is nepenthes@borneoexotics.com. And if you're interested in ordering, it's sales@borneoexotics.com. So maybe I should do a specific reel on actually how to order from us, because we only sell wholesale due to the massive complexities of the CITES system internationally. So, oops. We can explain a bit more about that with a few videos. I'm camera shy, by the way. I don't like doing these videos. That's one of the reasons it's taken so long. I do apologize. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Really appreciate it. If you watch this far, you have more patience than Job. Well done. Bye.